Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf. I hope you're enjoying the channel. This is a brand new video series for you all. So this is called Oh My Harley, and I'm going to be interviewing lots of different people from around the globe talking about Harley Davidson motorcycles and the culture and all sorts of things around it. So I'm joined today, and thank you very much, by Mr. D Cycle from his YouTube channel. And hello there, how are you?
Good, man. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
No, thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me. So tell us all a little bit about your channel, because I know exactly what you do. I know I talk about Harley Davidson and Sport Glides, but tell me what you do.
Sure. Well, my channel's a couple of years old now, and basically what I do is I do install videos, typical moto vlogs. I try to bring people to Illinois and the United States and just kind of show them what it's like in the Midwest to ride. And I've also done a little bit of fundraising, most in particular in the autism community.
Oh, right. Okay. Excellent. So, and I noticed that was a while ago. Is it for your son? You were doing it for your son's school? Was that right, or something?
Yeah, it's for my son. My son was diagnosed with ASD several years ago, and since we heard about, most in particular, the Autism Speaks walk that they do down in St. Louis, and they do these all over the country, we wanted to get involved in that, and we found out from that it affects so many families and so many people.
Of course.
That it'd be good to make a difference and help out that community, because we know what it could do to families, and there's lots of financials that go into it, especially when you want the therapies and stuff for your kids or your family members.
Yeah.
So we thought maybe if we can kind of help with that, it would make a big difference in the community.
Have you sort of tried to branch into or tap into the wider biking community where you are to raise awareness in that group as well?
Yeah, I have, especially with social media. I don't go too over the top with it, but I just want to make sure that people know that it's out there, and it affects a lot of families and a lot of people. And I think that social media and doing the YouTube channel has been a good way to spread awareness.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, I'm going to put the link in the description to your channel as well, so you can check out. You're obviously on YouTube, but also on Instagram as well. What other social media do you do?
Just for now, I just do the Instagram and YouTube. That's dcycle_moto, and you can find me on YouTube as d-cycle.
Right. Now, I love your channel, not only because you the way in which you present your videos, which are really cool, but it's also really good, valuable content. So I do a lot of stuff on the Sport Glide, but you do as well, and I just really like it. And so actually, a lot of the time, people are watching my videos, and I'm saying, go check out D Cycle, because I could make a video here, but look, he's already made it. Just go. Do you know what I mean? So I'm all about promoting other people. If they've already done a video, there's no point in me making exactly the same. Just send it over to you guys.
Right. And you'll find that a lot on YouTube. You'll have this idea for a video, and then man, you search in the YouTube search, and 50 people have already done it. So you're like, oh man, is this really going to make a difference? But I mean, the way I look at it, if you love to do it, just do it. Put it out there. You may have a different perspective on it than somebody else who's done it.
I think that's the way I approach all my videos, is that a lot of this information is already out there in one way or another, on whatever format. But you always put your own spin on it, and you say you can always bring your own information as well. So that's really cool. Anyway, so as I say, go check out D Cycle's channel and Instagram. But so he's graciously agreed to answer my dirty dozen questions about Harleys and Harley riding and all that kind of good stuff. Right, are you ready?
I'll do my best.
They're not really that bad. In fact, they're quite serious.
Oh, okay. Well, I may bring a little comedy to it.
Yeah, let's do that. I think on reflection, I may need to readjust these videos a little bit. But okay, the first question is, I'm going to put this up for everybody as well. Okay, we obviously already know this answer, but what motorcycle are you riding now? Give me a few particulars about that. But also, what were you riding before the Sport Glide, which I don't know.
I'll start with part 2 of that. Before what I ride now, I rode a 2014 Harley Davidson Iron 883.
Oh, nice.
I got it used. I got a heck of a deal on it, and I was actually you know, I'm not just a brand loyalist. I would say. I mean, I've owned 2 Harleys, and those are the only 2 Harleys, or the only 2 bikes I've ever owned.
Oh, okay.
But I was actually looking into getting a Kawasaki Vulcan for my first bike,
nice,
like brand new.
Yeah,
but
what,
this
the 2000 or the smaller one? Was it the 675?
I think it was a 700 or 750,
oh, right, okay,
something like that. Yeah. It's been a while. I can't really remember the particulars on the bike, but this Sportster came online on Craigslist, and you know, I'm a little fishy about buying used from Craigslist because you don't really know what you're going to get.
Sure.
But it was a perfect situation. The guy was getting married. He had a baby on the way. He had 3 motorcycles. He had to get rid of them. So I agreed with him. I said, I'll pay you what you want for the bike. If you meet me down in St. Louis, we get an inspection done on it real quick, and I'll have no problem forking over what you want for it. So that's what we did. And it just worked out perfectly. Great bike, had a lot of extras on it, and I love that Sportster. It was great. It's a great. A lot of people say a Sportster isn't a great first bike. I kind of disagree. I think it really matters on a lot of particulars as far as your weight, how comfortable you are, because Harleys aren't light bikes.
No,
they're heavy. No.
Yeah,
and that was one of the first things I noticed when I got on it, because I actually got the bike before I had my endorsement.
All right.
And then when I first got it, I'm like, man, this thing's heavier than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
And I'm riding a 700-pound bike now, which you know how much the Sport Glide weighs.
Sure.
But yeah, I had that Sportster for, I don't know, a year and a half or so. And then in August of 2018, I traded it in for the brand new model that year, the Sport Glide, mid-year release.
Right.
Yep.
Lots of people ask me, and I'm not sure if you get the same thing. Lots of people ask me, you know, is the sports, you know, good thing to get as a first bike? But is the 883 a good one to get? And this is what I usually tell people. So yeah, it's an absolutely perfect bike to start off with if you're new to riding. But what I always say to people is, if you can, try not to buy a brand new one, buy a used one, because you'll probably find within a year and a half, you'll kind of outgrow it. Maybe not in size, but you may want to step up to the 1200.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you too. If I had the money, I would still have that bike in my stable.
Yeah.
And I do have a dream to own another 883 one day and put a lot of work into it and make it my own. I've already got an idea up in my head on exactly what I want to do with it. But you know, as you know, having a Harley is like having a car payment.
Yeah. I remember there's a great quote from Jay Leno, I think it was, who says, you know, never sell anything. And I wish all the bikes that I'd had in the past, I never sold anything. I wish I had a stable of all my bikes, you know. And I think before I leave this earth, I'm going to try and claw back some of those bikes, but I'm always on the lookout. But anyway, okay, right. Great answers. So next question then. So here's one. What do you think of the technology that is on your bike? Would you like more or less on it?
As far as the Sport Glide, I think it's perfect in what it offers, because they call the Sport Glide a sport touring model. You can do short distances on it if you want. You could do long distances. And I'm not the type of person that needs every gadget available on a motorcycle. I think that kind of takes away from the beauty of what we love of motorcycling, just you and the open road. If you have all the gadgets, that could be one distracting, which that can never be good if you know, you have a spill because you're too busy playing on, you know, a gadget or something like that. And I mean, the Milwaukee 8 compared to the Evo I had, way better engine.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's a great engine. Harley did a great job with it. Yeah, there were a couple problems they had, but that's with every new engine. You're going to have some kinks you're going to have to work out.
Sure.
And of course, I jumped the gun and I went ahead and bought it not too long after it was released, because I test rode it and I was like, I got to have this bike.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you know, compared to my Iron 883, that was just a bare bones, you know, get on the bike and ride type of thing. You know, it didn't have, like the Sport Glide's it's got ABS, it's got cruise control. It's got, you know, the inverted front forks. It's got the bags. It's got the passenger seat. It's got the passenger pegs and the fairing. I mean, I'm being biased because I own the bike, but I think it's one of, if not the best softail option that Harley has on the market right now.
Yeah, Oh, I would agree. Actually, I think it's definitely near the very top of all the Harley models. And for me, in general, motorcycling, I say this repeatedly, it's probably one of the best bikes I've ever owned as well and ridden. You know, it's the bike that I've got the quickest connection with over any other bike actually. So I'm with you. I think it's a great bike. Mm-hmm. Okay, right. So next question then. I think we've already covered this really, but how long have you been riding Harley Davidson motorcycles, and what was your first experience of them? But I suppose we can extend this now. What's been your best time on Harley Davidson?
Best time on a Harley Davidson. Well, I'm gonna put this in the kind of two parts. Yeah. One, we just had a moto meetup here in Illinois, and part of that was riding on Route 66. I mapped out a ride for the whole group that came, and we had people from all over the country come. Yeah, and I wanted to make sure that everybody experienced riding on old Route 66. And riding an American motorcycle on that road is surreal. Yeah. So I'm going to say every time I get on Route 66, it's a pleasure. But I know there's prettier roads out there than where I live, because I'm surrounded by cornfields. So it's not sometimes the best views. Like, I'd love to ride out in the desert. One of my dreams is to ride all the way out to Phoenix, Arizona, where I used to go to school, and ride through, that terrain, because it's beautiful when the sun comes up and the sun goes down. Yeah. I'd love to ride to the California coast and go up the coast.
Beautiful. Yeah. 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 So I know that road quite well. I lived in California for a while, and used to do sort of San Francisco to Los Angeles route quite well down the coast. So lovely part of the world there as well. Fantastic. Okay, next question then. Okay, here's a good one. So what modifications, if any, have you made? I know you've done quite a bit, but what modifications have you made, and are they worth it?
Oh God, if I could even remember. There's so many of them. I mean, as soon as I got that bike, first thing I did,
you've changed your fairing quite a couple of times, haven't you?
I have. I worked out. I got in contact with Memphis Shades, who does fairings and windshields, and they agreed to let me test a couple of their products and kind of be a product influencer for them. Yeah. And I went with the bullet fairing, which did a good job, in my opinion. It worked out well. I shouldn't say an opinion, because I've had both, but as far as the stock fairing compared to this one, it blocked a lot more wind, and I'm kind of more for function than looks, right? And compared to the stock one, it holds wind way better. And then just most recently, they sent me out the Road Warrior fairing with a 13-inch windshield. Yeah, and that takes everything off up here.
All right, yeah,
and it's perfect because I want to go on some longer trips this year. I'm going to be going to Kentucky, because we're going to be having Midwest Moto Meetup 2020 out in Louisville, Kentucky. Yeah. And me and my buddy are going to do some moto camping this next year. And we're going to, ride all day, find a spot to camp, enjoy that and come back. So I want to be able to have the bike totally ready to do some longer distances. Yeah. But as far as other mods, my God. First thing.
Seat? What kind of seat have you got?
I still have the stock seat.
Oh, right. Okay.
I do.
Sissy bar? You've got a sissy bar with back pad, is that right?
I do. I have a Harley Davidson. It's what was the name of it? It's a quick detach one. It comes with the docking hardware, makes it really easy to take on and come off. I can't remember the name of it. I'm sorry. No. But yeah, and I actually went with a touring pad, because it's compatible with a lot of the touring models pads. Yeah. So when the wife gets on it, she'll be a lot more comfortable. Yeah. And a little pricey. Harley parts are, as we all know, but definitely worth the investment.
Yeah, if I had to say that was one big criticism about the stock seat in particular, for me, I rode all around the country just a while ago, no problems at all in terms of comfort for me. But as soon as you want to put anybody on the back, that stock seat just isn't good enough. So
my wife rode on the back of my Sportster for 45 minutes. So if she can endure that, I think she could ride on the Sport Glide for a couple hours. But I think that's a future modification, is buying a new seat.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's my next question. Then, what other modifications would you do?
As far as I've done that are going to help with not just looks, you thinking? I would think
anything really.
Because we know the Harley comes with a LED headlamp, and the rears are LED, and I don't know why they didn't go full LED in the front.
Yeah,
that was a big detractor. But you know, I had custom dynamics turn signals on my Sportster that I was able to just swap out into this bike.
Yeah.
So I'm full LED on all my lights.
Yeah.
I would say that's, I mean, always be seen. That's one of the best ways you can make yourself be seen, is more lighting. God, as far as everything else, you know, I've done the stage 1 Arlen Ness Big Sucker, and I've done a Tab Performance slip-on with Zombie Baffle, which sounds amazing for a slip-on. Then FP3 fuel pack for tuning.
Yeah,
that made a big difference. And I know a lot of people are scared about warranty, because it seems like if you put a flag on the back of your bike, they're going to void your warranty.
Yeah. Sure.
But you know, I had the bike a year. I only had that one problem with the fuel leak, and that got fixed real quick. You know, it was covered under warranty. I was after that, and I was like, I've had no other problems. This bike runs great, and it's only going to open up and run better once I put that stage 1 and tune it. And it has. It's running so much better than it did stock.
So with the FP3, are you using the auto tune on it? Are you?
I haven't yet.
Right.
When I talked to Vance and Hines, they said for my setup to run the Vance and Hines Pro Pipe map, with the high flow air cleaner, and it's worked great. But they did say run that for like 2 tankfuls and then run auto tune.
Right. Okay.
Which I might try next year, but it was toward the end of riding season, and I wasn't too worried about going through auto tune, because auto tune makes your bike run like crap at first. I mean, it runs terrible. And since, rides were getting few and far between at the end of riding season, I just wanted to enjoy the bike. But in the spring, I'll have more time. Maybe I'll try that auto tune and see how it runs. If I don't like it, I can just always go back to the map I had.
Yeah. Okay, bro. And no errors codes associated with that stage 1 upgrade or the FP3?
Oh, no, nothing at all. No problems.
Bro. Okay. Right. Next question then. What other Harley or motorcycle, it doesn't have to be a Harley actually, would you like to own or just ride?
I've actually talked about this a couple times. I'd love to ride an Indian bagger.
Yeah.
I love, as far as baggers, I think Indians are better looking, and of course they're going to perform a little bit better stock.
Yeah.
Because they're liquid cooled, and I just love the looks of them. I think the dark horses are beautiful bikes.
Yeah,
and like I said earlier, I'm not a brand snob. I don't just like Harley Davidson. I think the Indian Scout Bobber would be another cool choice. I think that's a beautiful motorcycle. The Kawasaki Vulcan, bike I had in mind to get a couple years back.
Yeah. But
I'm not too much into the sport bike scene. I can appreciate them. I have no problem with people who ride sport bikes. I think they're, every different type of bike is something different for everybody. And if that's what you like, Godspeed. I will ride with anybody on 2 wheels. It does not matter.
Yeah, me too. Exactly right. Okay, yeah. I mean, I like those onions. I'm not too sure about the front end, the light nacelle on most. I think there's one variant of the Scout that's got just a small round headlight, and I've forgotten which one it is. I think that I like that one. I saw that at a show recently. But I think Indian, I mean, I've made videos about this as well, and I've got a couple more coming out as well. But I think Indian are really going to give Harley a run for their money in terms of what not only looks, but, technology and rideability, I think.
Oh, for sure. And they're, like I said, they're great looking bikes. So
yeah, absolutely.
They're going to be up in the ante, and then I think it's going to force Harley Davidson to up their ante too. And it should be something to sit back and eat on some popcorn and watch happen. Hey, I think it's good for motorcycling as a whole.
Well, it's good for us. I think it's good for us because things can only get better.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Right. What is your favorite Harley Davidson of all time? Okay, let me scrap that. I'm going to change this question in the video. What's your favorite bike of all time? Let's put it that way.
48 Panhead.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
I love the old bikes. There's just something about them.
Yeah.
And once you come across one of those older bikes, you're like, man, I wish I could sit on that seat and feel some of the old school,
Yeah. I love the Panhead as well. Yeah.
They're pretty.
I love
they're
the old engine.
Yeah.
I built a couple of bikes in my time, and I just, having an old engine and an old frame, maybe just a hardtail frame as well. But yeah, I'm with you. Some of those. Lovely. Okay. Right. Here's, I suppose, another question. It's more, about Harley Davidson, about your bike. What do you think? Because I get this question all the time, and I don't know about you, but what do you think Harley should have included standard on your bike? But that's not on there. You know, what do you think? Is there any bit of equipment that they should have said, right, you know, this is going to come in standard. You don't have to pay extra for it. It's not an option. There you go. That's on us. What do you think?
Well, I'm going to say the sissy bar, because if you got a seat on the back of it, you know, if you buy this bike, that's one of the things people got to know that you're going to be doing is riding 2-up at some point. Yeah. So why not put a sissy bar on the back? If this bike is made to crush miles, ride cross country, why not make it more comfortable for the passenger too? Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, that's a good shout, actually. I mean, I was thinking more of the lines of technology. I think I made a video recently about this. You know, the Taurus have come out with that RDRS, and I thought maybe some of the technology from that should filter down to the Softails. But I think you're right. Some of the more simple things, just a better comfortable seat for 2-up riding as a standard or as a standard option, to say, right, with sissy bar, that's what you should be looking at. Because let's face it, as you so rightly say, this is kind of a touring bike, a mini touring bike. That can easily take 2-up, and you know, it should cater for that, really. Okay, how are you finding these questions so far? Not so taxing?
No, I love them, and this is great.
Good.
I'm having a good time.
Good. Okay, next question. This is going to be maybe, I'm not sure if it's harder to answer, but here we go. What do you think of the Livewire electric bike as a production bike? Don't swear. Don't curse on my channel.
I will not, I promise. I will find other words to use than the ones I got in mind. No, I don't have a problem with, I think it's great that Harley's moving into a new direction with the electric bike market.
Yeah.
I have no problem with it. I think it's great for, one, the environment. 2, it shows Harley's ingenuity, you know, what they can do that, you know, people have been dogging them on for so many years on their technologies. Like, oh, Harley's got, they're dining on 1950s technology and this and that.
Yeah.
They're bringing it with this bike. The only problem is it's way too expensive.
Yeah.
Now, what I'm hoping they do from this, because from everybody that I hear that have test ridden it, like we just talked to Bike and Bird the other day on the podcast or whatever.
Oh, yeah,
he said it was amazing, and everybody says the same thing. They say it's so much fun, it's so fast, it's got the performance, they love the sound of it and everything. And I'm sure I would feel the same way if I ever rode it. I don't know if I'm going to, because my dealership does not plan on getting the charging station, so they probably will not sell the bike anytime soon.
Sure.
But I know they're selling the small little children's bikes.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe one day. Yeah. But what I think Harley can do from this that would be beneficial for more demographics is to release new models, lower price point, and they would sell a ton of them, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Because dabbling in the electric bike market's going to be a hot thing here, I think, in a year or two.
Yeah.
And seeing what this bike can do from all the people that have swung a leg over it, I think they're gonna crush the game, and they're gonna make other manufacturers up their ante as well.
Yeah, I mean, I was at a motor show recently, and they had 2 live wires as static displays, but you could go on there like on a rolling road, on a kind of a dyno platform, and virtually everyone that I saw get on there, you could see the expression on their faces. It was like, wow, look at this, this is amazing.
Yep.
But price point, you're absolutely right, price point, and I don't think Livewire is the bike that's going to save Harley Davidson or is going to be the big sales number. I agree with you. I think actually the technology that they've kind of got in that, if they filter that down into some other bikes, or they take that technology and move that into standard bikes like Softails or Taurus, I think that's where it's at, really. But it's such a shame, because I think we're on the threshold of something really big with electric bikes, not only around Europe, where you could argue there's smaller distances between urban areas, but I think all over the globe. I think and this is where it's at. In 20 years' time, if we're still doing this YouTube thing, we're going to be talking about electric bikes every week, aren't we?
It's going to be very commonplace.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So next question then. Next two bikes that are coming out from Harley Davidson. This is more of a quantum shift, really, I suppose, in many ways than the electric bike. The Pan America and the Bronx bikes. What do you think of them? What do you think of this new liquid-cooled engine that's going to come out? And is it something that would interest you?
It would, because it's like what Indian's doing. They've got the liquid-cooled bikes. They've been doing it for years. So Harley doing it, I think they're going to be able to introduce more torque.
Yeah.
They're going to be monsters. And, the Pan America, I think it's going to be pushing 1250 cc's.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And it's going to be a torque monster. So, wherever you take that thing, it's going to go where you want it to.
Yeah.
And the Bronx, I mean, for a sport bike, I think it's beautiful looking. And I think it's going to be another quick one too. I think that's going to be 975 cc.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So, the 883, the Iron 883, it's an 883 cc displacement bike. It doesn't ride like that.
No,
I mean, compared to an 800 cc sport bike, it's a turtle.
Yeah, sure.
So you put that into a liquid cooled bike, into this new engine that Harley's putting out. I think they're gonna wow a lot of people with how well the bikes ride and the performance and everything.
Yeah. I think my only concern with the Pan America, I did a lot of, I started off-road riding when I was a kid, 10 years old, so dirt bike. So I kind of got that heritage, really, all that history. Then before I got the Harley, I was into adventure bike riding quite a bit for 2 or 3 years, 4 years. So I did a lot of off-road riding. In fact, most of my riding in this country has been off-road riding for the last 3 or 4 years. So I kind of know that area quite well. The thing with the Pan America is that it's got to compete with the better bikes on the market. It's got to come in at a reasonable price or competitive price. And you know what? It can't be Harley weak, if you know what I mean. It can't be a bike that's just not, it's going to crumble at the first rock or the first sight of mud. It's got to have a bit of strength and durability there. If it does, then I think it will do all right. But if it doesn't, then people within that sector, that off-road sector, riding sector, they're very critical. Well, I'm not saying unjustly critical, but they're very knowledgeable of what they need from a bike. And if it doesn't match up, it will fall on its ass quite quickly, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think it's going to surprise people just like the Livewire did.
Yeah.
It's really going to come down, I think, not only to how well it does off-road, but I think it's also going to come down to the price point.
Yeah.
If they're going to price it like a BMW off-road bike, it better perform like a BMW off-road bike, because I think BMWs, they've been doing this for I don't know how many years, but they've got it down. Yeah. And so do like Kawasaki too. They've got it down. I think Ducati's, they've got it down too. If you're going to release a bike like that into a market that's been around for a long time, for people that want to ride like that, you have to hit the ground running and hit it hard.
Yeah, exactly right. Okay, this is going to be more of a general question about Harley Davidson as a company. There's lots of always rumors and speculations how well the company is doing, if they're losing sales, all this kind of stuff. So to be able to compete with other manufacturers in the future, what do you think Harley Davidson need to do as a company?
Let's see. What do they need to do to compete?
Well, they've got this kind of better roads or more roads program, haven't they, to expand, to attract new riders.
Oh, yeah.
And stuff like that. And they're in the Far East, they're trying to produce a small displacement engine next year and all this kind of stuff. Obviously with the liquid-cooled engines, the Livewire, they are changing. But do you think they need to do more or just stick to what they do best?
I don't think they should throw too many irons in the fire right now. I think in particular, they need to see how these new bikes do when they hit the market. Yeah. And I'm going to go back to this again. It's about their pricing. That's probably the thing that people say most about Harley is their pricing needs to be better. And I agree. I mean, $20,000 for the Sport Glide after taxes. I mean, that's what I paid. I don't know what you paid for it. Probably a lot more since it's an import.
It's a little bit more than that in dollars. It's $14,995, which is about it's about the same price actually. I would say something like that. $21,000, something like that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It depends on the exchange rate. So obviously, sometimes it might be $22,500, and it might be $20,000. But Yeah, it's about right.
I know Harley's got this. I don't know how many bikes they want to release in the next some odd years, but they need to make more bikes that are going to compete not only in performance but also price point. And they need to get this in front of the younger demographic now.
Yeah.
No, it's cool what they're doing with the Livewire. A lot of people want to see that technology. They also want to see it for less money.
Yeah.
So I think, because Harley is still alive by the skin of their teeth from a lot of the old guard that they're holding on to that Harley culture, that Harley lifestyle that we've all come to know. And that's kind of fizzling out a little bit. The guys that were riding the twin cams and the baggers, they're buying trikes now, and they may have bought their last bike.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So they need to keep some sort of new tradition, but kind of keep some of the same old tradition going.
Yeah.
That is going to attract younger riders, and it's going to make bikes more affordable for them, so that, if they've got $100,000 in student loans, and they're not doctors, they can still hop on a motorcycle if they want to.
Well, I mean, I completely agree, and I think it's that next generation that they need to tap into, but also the next generation that just don't have a lot of money, and I think those are the ones they got to really attract. Now, if they're going to start producing more bikes, they got to produce small engine bikes, and because people are interested in different things, I think, it's about the environment, it's about economy and efficiency and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because younger kids these days, they're starting to care less and less about tradition and culture.
Absolutely right.
They just want the next big thing, and they don't want to wait for it. They want. You can have something next day shipped to your house.
Yeah.
With the tip of your fingers right here.
Yeah.
They want new stuff, and they want it now.
Yeah. Absolutely right.
So I think that's where it needs to go. But I mean, rumor has it that the Sportster might not be around for too much longer. I hate to say it, and I hope it doesn't come true, because it's such an iconic motorcycle in Harley Davidson's history.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are saying that new custom, that 1250 custom or whatever displacement they're going to have in that new custom model may replace the Sportster.
Right.
So if you got a Sportster, I'd hold on to it, because it might become a relic or a something you want to pass on to your kids at least, because that Evo engine is rock solid.
Yeah,
it takes a stick of dynamite to blow that up, as my friend Tony would say.
Is that Tony Cox? Is it?
It is. Yeah,
he's got a good channel as well. If you're watching this, obviously check out D-Cycle's channel, but also check out Tony Cox as well. I've linked a few of the videos to him as well, so he's done quite some good ones. Okay. Right, next question then, and it's kind of a different one. Have we asked this one? What's your favorite? Yeah, what's your sort of favorite Harley Davidson of all time? Did we cover that?
I think it was the 48 Panhead was my answer, just because of how iconic that bike is and the looks of it, the old school.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Any other bikes that you would like?
Well, I can tell you what I plan to do with a Sportster, because I love the Sportsters. I mean, like I said, they've been around for so long.
Sure.
What I want to do is I think it's a 2012. They came out with a gloss blue paint job.
Oh yeah.
And it was pretty. And me, like, my big thing is I'm really into blue for my channel and for other reasons. Okay. But I'd love to take an 883 Sportster, put a 1250 kit in it, some white wall tires, some mini apes, a few other things here and there, and that would be, kind of like my hopping around bike.
Lovely.
A blacked out Nightster looking, some mean sounding pipes on it and everything. And I just hope too that what's going on with emission standards and everything doesn't affect people who currently own loud motorcycles, where they're going to start putting a ban or something like that on people's, as far as the amount of decibels that you can emit from your bike. But
yeah, sure.
As far as I would say the Panhead and the Sportster, like I love the Iron. There's just something about it.
No, it's great. I mean, I don't know if you've ever watched some of my videos when I've sort of talked about this, but I kind of repeatedly said again, for me, the Sportster is probably proportionally, in proportion size, one of the best Harleys that have ever been made. I actually, in terms of proportions, I loved it. Always loved that bike.
Yeah, and dependability's there.
Oh yeah.
We just we spoke to, I don't know if you heard of the guy Scooter Tramp Scotty. He put 537,000 miles on an Evo engine.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's a lot of miles.
Yeah.
And the current bikes he's got over 100,000 on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Right. Okay. Last question then. Very last question. Here we go. Would you ever choose another make of motorcycle, or would you only ever ride Harley Davidsons in the future, and why?
In the future, I would totally go Indian. Like I said, if I ever wanted to take the step up to go for a bagger, I would totally go up to the Chieftain or something like that.
Yeah.
Would I ride another Harley again? Absolutely. Yeah. And I can't wait to see what they do with the future models. I don't know if I'd go Harley bagger. Like I said, as far as baggers, I think the Indians have a little bit more to offer.
Sure.
Even from looks. I mean, the Harley baggers are beautiful, but there's just something about those Indian baggers that I just gravitate toward.
Yeah. Would you ever consider like a Japanese or British bike or any other European bike?
Yeah, like I said, I don't discriminate against any type of bike. I'm trying to think of one. Street Triple.
Oh yeah,
maybe.
Yeah.
Those are nice.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of some other ones. I'm just
how about
drawing a blank right now.
I don't know, Italian Ducati, Moto Guzzi, something like that.
Yeah, Ducati. I would check into. They're not too high on the reliability list from what I heard from. But I don't always look at those whatever they are, those statistic polls that they put together, because you don't know where they're drawing their information from.
Yeah, sure.
But I mean, I think for the most part, any bike will be reliable as long as you take care of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's how you ride it, how you switch that throttle. That's right. And maintenance is always a big thing. Well, listen, that's it. That's my 12 questions. Those are the dirty dozen. I think I might have sneaked in a couple of extra ones there, cheekily under the radar, but you dealt with them fantastically well. So thanks very much for joining me.
Hey, it was a pleasure, man. I thank you very much.
No, it's been absolutely great. So this, is it's always good to get other people's opinions on, biking, Harley Davidson, motorcycling culture as well. So thanks very much for joining. And for all of you out there, thanks for watching as well. Please like, share, subscribe. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you think of all the answers and all the things that we've discussed. Go check out D-Cycle's channel. Here, I'm going to put it up again there. Look at that. Go check out D-Cycle channel and Instagram as well. Lots of cool pictures and lots of good things about sport glides and how-to videos as well, with a good flavor of different stuff. What's going on. But I say thanks very much for him. So check out the website RevelatorAlf.com and the Harley Parley page, and I will catch you again for the next Oh My Harley or other videos as well. Catch you again. Ta-ra now.
See ya.